Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Backrooms Part 2. It's been a little while since I last made a Backrooms video, and that was on purpose. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the video or not, but it's kind of a mini series because it's only 2 episodes. It's like once every other Wednesday that I was going to post this. The Backrooms Part 2. This is going to be a duology. Not much to cover since I don't have to go over all of the story. You did not watch the last part. Please go ahead and watch it. I will cover up the tiny little bit of spoilers that you could probably barely see. Please do not watch this without watching that one. Let's get straight into it. I hope you guys enjoy. Picking up from where we left off, there's this whole, whatever they're called, still life versus Germany. And well, the still lives, they've completed their mission of getting into the normal plane of reality. And so now the rest of the German colony in the Backrooms is, well, it's very ripe for invasion. And yeah, Germany was kind of unprepared. If I'm being completely honest, they were not doing the best. They were kind of just using all of the previous studies to get in here. And so they didn't actually have any revolutionary ideas on what they could do. So they kind of sold there. We're going to see like the first meetup of country to country because these guys don't necessarily count. The Scandinavians are going to continue their exploration operation that they have been doing for a while now, and just so happens that the U.S. is doing it at the same time. And obviously this is literally the same room, so they're going to see each other and they're actually going to meet together. And they're going to have a little bit of a talk. They're not going to be militarized because you're not showing up to the back rooms with a gun, are you? We're also going to see the U.S. is going to explore down into this big area right here. But yeah, Scandinavians are going to actually claim some land now because they've done all of the main exploration things that they've been wanting to do, other than this little northern bit right here. Anyways, the Norwegian, or not just the Norwegians, it's not just them. The Scandinavians are going to claim a large piece of land. I don't know how large I should make them. I should make them to like their previous claims, like that. Let's do that, and then so there, and then right here. The Americans and the Scandinavians are going to do a peace treaty where basically this section of land is going to go over to the Scandinavians. This is all going to be American, which is interesting because this means that they're either going to have to make a hole through this wall, which is really risky because making holes in walls of the Backrooms is just such a weird thing to do, or they're just going to have to ask the Americans and have to go through, and there's some risk in that. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and claim all of that. There you go. With that, we're also gonna see that the Americans are gonna do that. I just realized the Americans have the exact same thing, so it's whatever. Eye for an eye, I guess. They're gonna take the other half of this like section of the rooms because I'm assuming this is the same thing. But let's go back to the real world because something drastic just happened. I really meant it when I said drastic. Yeah, we're gonna see, obviously they're crushing Germany, and it's very alarming because like now there's all the war machines and like the tanks and airplanes and stuff that's fighting them, and the still lifes are replicating it once again. Some interesting things are happening to the still lifes since they've escaped the Backrooms. It's a bit of an interesting thing. It's never really been a topic in the Backrooms before. Also, they are going to make their way into, yes, I know this is a hard place to whatever, but they're going to invade into France as well. And they're also going to use this shore to invade just a little tidbit of England. They are really, like, they don't give up because they have this really distorted vision, even though they're not quite conscious. Germany is going to, well, they're going to completely collapse because all of the people are running away. All the government officials have been, well, they've been wiped out. There's sort of a peace treaty in the Backrooms where all of Germany's colony is now gone, and they have this open gateway. They're also claiming even more land really quickly because they're, again, it's an exaggerated imitation of the people that are in the backrooms. But I mean, China is definitely probably the reason why this is happening, because China is going really fast, like this. A little bit of off-camera expanding. It's interesting because the still lifes, sometimes they give mixed signals, and they're giving mixed signals to China, where it's like sometimes they have like a peace treaty, like they're very peaceful, and other times they're really aggressive. And that is mainly because of these guys. Also, I'm getting rid of the settlement-based things. I think it's kind of stupid. Progress is like exponentially growing faster and faster inside of the backrooms. However, outside of the backrooms, there's definitely some interesting things happening. For whatever odd reason, the people of China have found out about, the still lifes, and they think that the still lifes are being oppressed. And so there's sort of a revolution in China of, well, we should bring the still lifes into China and show the world that the still lifes are people just like us, for whatever sense that makes. And the main people who started this sort of revolution are actually the people who are in Backrooms to begin with. They are going to, well, we're going to see them like explore a lot so that they have a better border with the still lifers. But they're going to take like this much. Maybe they can take like a section of it like this, I guess, and then they can connect it up right there. And then we're going to see the still lifes are going to take quite a bit here, like this. There you go. So now they have a border, and they're inviting the still lifes to come with them. And I mean, that's really risky and stuff, but they do it. And without the Chinese's opinion or anything, and they break through their little portal. And well, now there's still lifes inside of China, and I mean, they're not militarized or anything like the German still lifes are right now, but they definitely are interesting and causing some disappearances within China. As we can see, the still lifes that are currently located in Germany are very locked in and focused on, well, getting the other colonists of the backrooms out. But don't worry, because Scandinavia is here to finally save the day. Because Scandinavia, like, this is a different thing. Like, there's not many Scandinavian still lifes within this, so there's not a lot of ability for the still lifes to grow on Scandinavian tactics. But the Scandinavians are gonna try and recapture the Berlin region, and they're gonna do it quite successfully. And they're really enforcing this border because they know for a fact that the still lifes are not just looking to replicate what the countries oppressing them are. They're also looking to replicate, of course, the country's history that they are currently in. And, well, I mean, Poland is not the first country to go, but these few countries are definitely on the chopping block for them if that ever happens, along with these guys. England is also going to lock in and actually, fight back against these dudes. Their navy isn't actually that good. They just had like one specific moment where they were able to get over here, but of course, that access is cut off. And this access sucks because France kind of just blew up their own stuff because they didn't need these guys knowing. And also because these guys started blowing up their own stuff, and it was funny. This is going to cause China, well, the people in China are going to start influencing, because there's a still life as well. They're actually becoming a part of the population now. Also, China has found out that they can sell, like they're selling the still lifes, which is interesting. But they're selling it to other people in other countries. The Chinese government is telling Russia that we need to do something about this so that we can save Germany. and then steal all of the still lifes that are in here. Just means Russia needs to invade into Scandinavia. Yeah, there's no hesitation at all. Russia was down for this the second China started talking. And also, Scandinavia did not expect this to happen, of course, because why would Russia join into a war like this? So most of their assets are down here. Of course, Russia has their tactics. They're gonna hit the lake here, and they're gonna go up into the freezing cold area that no one goes into. Finland has gotten the most damage, and also all of a sudden, these guys have finally started adapting to the Scandinavian tactics, and they are beating back on these dudes. However, this is not the plan, because China wants these guys to be stuck and wants these guys to have a perfect opportunity for China to steal them and then get a bunch of money because they're profiting off of these things. I don't know how to explain it to you, but like they're selling them, they're pulling them apart, they're taking out their organs and like selling the organs, and it's weird. Also, England is going to, well, the UK is going to help France with this horrible border, and Italy is going to help them with the area in between these two mountain ranges right here. China is going to basically just start sneaking stuff into the still life region, and it's going to make them become a lot more aggressive in the German area. And I just gotta show you. Oh boy, they're doing it. They're starting it. I really apologize if I get some of the stuff wrong, like accuracy wise. I'll just blame it on the still lifes. They kind of mismatched the order of the things. Quite interesting. Germany is very peculiar looking. This isn't accurate at all, not even close. So don't judge me too hard, because I cannot figure out how to draw the borders on, because it's a little funky, because like Poland is a completely different shape. Borders don't quite work as well as I'd want them to, yet this looks dumb. They're invading into these guys, and they claim it. No person actually, I don't think any single country actually recognizes the still lifes as a nation, but this is like what they would look like in theory if they were a recognized country. The Germans did not make quite a good decision, because Italy has a perfect front to just, they can invade into these things. Oh, never mind. Now not Germany. Now the still lifes, they're kind of at a halt because they want to invade Poland, but they have three fronts that they're fighting on already, and they are starting to struggle now because they're running out of still lifes. Like, it doesn't produce an infinite amount of still lifes. It only produces still lifes that are already in the backrooms. It's only alive as long as the person is alive, which sucks because all the people that have been in the backrooms, they've been killed. This is sort of good for the world, but this is bad for the Chinese, because Chinese, of course, they're profiting off of these guys, and they've been capturing the Chinese explorers of the backrooms, so that they never die, and so that it keeps on reproducing still lives. Now we're gonna see India and the USA are actually going to meet up, and this is going to kind of prompt them to do something about everything that's been going on, because obviously they all know that each other are in the back. It wasn't known that India was in the back rooms, and it wasn't known that Russia is in the back rooms. It is known that these guys are in, and these guys are also going to meet with the still lifes, which is not good at all, because if these guys go too close over there, they're going to get a second front in Europe, and then there's no way Europe's recovering from that. Scandinavians and the Americans are also going to kind of, they're going to explore together again. And of course, the Russians are going to go out, and boom, we just found out that Russia is part of this operation. And now the Scandinavians, a very good theory on why Russia would invade them in the first place. We're going to see some quick claims so that it's easier for conflict to actually start up. We're going to see the Scandinavians that are going to be, you know, trying their best to make progress against the Russians. I mean, it's a little bit hard, just a little bit, because it is Russia, and they're also being supplied a lot, being supplied very heavily by China. And, you know, other countries are starting to suspect that because there's some reports of Chinese tech being used against the Scandinavians, but it's whatever. The Russians are going to go ahead. Oh, shoot, I just undid the thing. The Russians, well, the Scandinavians are going to do really well in the bottom part of Finland. And we're also going to see the Russians are going to be continuing their evading around the mountains right here. They're doing really well against the Scandinavians, and eventually they're able to, well, let's just say, since these guys are so aligned with Estonia, Estonia is going to, real quick, suffer the consequences of existing within Russia's presence, and they're going to get completely wiped out. This is going to make it easier for them to capture the rest of Finland, and they're going to capture whatever this island is called. And then they're going to capture part of Sweden. Boom, speed run Russia's stupid expanse. This is unfortunately going to result in all of the German invasion that the Scandinavians are holding to come to a halt, and they need to be retreated because they need to take care of the homeland. Italy they're ignoring the mountains by now, and they're invading into this bottom part of Germany, of the still life Germany. And well, this is going to come to a breaking point because India and the USA have sort of, you know, come to this realization, and they've done some spies. They've sent some spies, they've done some investigations, and they realized that China has been exploiting the still lifes. Russia is basically being puppeted by China right now. And well, yes, it's not very realistic, but still life, so nothing's realistic. Where the Scandinavians lack in the real world, they gain in the backrooms, because yeah, the Scandinavians military force that's inside the backrooms is a lot better than the military force of Russia that's inside of the backrooms. And it's like, it's insane. They're just killing all of the people. The Russians are so outnumbered in the backrooms, and they eventually make it to the portal, and this is where things start going downhill, because now they have all of this claimed, and now they also have a strong ally in the U.S., at least when it comes to the backrooms. And we're going to see they're going to claim a lot of the backrooms land right here. The U.S. is going to have a direct border, and they're also going to be in cahoots with these guys. So now the U.S. has access to this gateway, and the Scandinavians have access to their own, to this, and to the American one. So now we kind of got 3 gateways that are all a part of a group of individuals, and one of them goes to, well, an enemy country. So you know how this is going to go. There's something different about Russia's gateway, is that it's sort of like a flip switch gateway. It switches between 2 different Earth gateways. And obviously this is perfect for the US and the Scandinavians. Scandinavians are more focused on Russia itself. In St. Petersburg, I'll have it be that. But in that general area, and this is perfect for the Scandinavians because it's right next to Scandinavia. It's right next to Finland. So they're going to be able to start, you know, recapturing a lot of the Finnish lands. And also they're going to be able to invade down and go ahead and recapture Estonia. So all is going well for the Scandinavians, because the back rooms was not fortified at all by the Russians. They were stupid. Of course, the Americans are going to perfectly utilize their the second gateway, since it's so freaking close to China, it's perfect, because the U.S. is not in favor of China at all. It just so happens that their second base is in Sakhalin, I think this is called. And so this is actually really great. They're able to fast, like a really quick invasion, because what's Russia gonna do? They could invade Alaska if they so truly dare. They're invading into here. Their main goal is not to invade in Russia. It's their main goal is to get into China, which, speaking of which, America, because they now have access to all of the Russian base, and also same with Scandinavia, both Scandinavia and America are going to go out along with India, because India also has connections and they have been spying, and also they're on borders with they're basically gonna, all of these countries are going to go out and say that China has selling still lifes. They've been capturing and torturing people so that they can sell said still lifes, and they've been generally abusing the backrooms for their own gain, and the still lifes are not something that we should be, involved with. This is going to cause, well, it's going to cause like a whole shebang to go on with Korea and Japan. Like, I'm just going to include these two, but there's probably more going on here. I'm not going to cover anything else. I'm just going to cover India, who they're not going to do any conventional invasion, but India is going to do a lot of cyber attacks, and China is like conscripting people into the backrooms. It's horrible, and India is here to stop that. The help of America, of course, Japan and South Korea are going to invade into North Korea. They're going to destroy them. Also, sorry that I'm not doing different colors in this area. Actually, I'll do that real quick. There you go. I made it different colors. This part of the video is pretty boring. I want to get back to the actual background. Suddenly, Japan is going to activate their World War II powers, and they are going to invade straight into whatever it's called. Beijing. They're going to completely just destroy the coastline of Japan. I mean, of course, with the help of America, but this is mostly Japan, man. This is their brute force, their ultra instinct of World War II. Instantly, all of the most of the things that were going on were in this area. So, like, India is taking care of the rest of it, to be honest. And there's probably some invasions going on down here where they've probably totaled South China, but I'm not going to cover that. Anyways, Russia is just going to opt out of this war. Now that China is not here, they don't care anymore. Because there's nothing in for them. China was basically paying them money, giving them stuff, giving them a portion of the still life revenue, whatever, giving them their sauce on doing the still life stuff. Oh, like, all of that was sort of their benefit for being in the war and trying to basically get all of the German still lifes out and into China. There's like no still lifes left because they've kicked all of the still lifes into the backrooms, into the Chinese portal, because the Chinese portal was also right here. That's also going to mean that all of this is actually going to be partitioned into mainly just the U.S. Is it the partition? I know it's interesting. It's a little weird to look at. Also, is this a different color than this? It is. That is so odd. The purple team especially got screwed over because they have barely any land, and they're also right next to the still lifes. But this is a lot better for all of these countries. All of these countries are finally going to work together because they no longer really have to fight a war with Russia. Scandinavia, they can't do anything up here because it's already like it's an agreement type thing that they will have to figure out this peace treaty later. Because I mean, Russia was trying to do it as soon as possible, but they are so occupied with this that they can't even do it. Yeah, now we're gonna see they're gonna invade into the German still lifes again, and this time it's a lot easier to do because they now have a bunch of countries that are aiding them. And also, again, remember, we're running out of still lifes here. There's not a lot left, and also the gateway to the still lifes has just been breached from the inside. It's basically being invaded from the inside. Asking about this, they kind of just like rushed in and they kind of set off bombs inside of these places, and they're wiping out all of the still lifes that they possibly can. The Western Europeans, they have claimed the actual portal, and so now all of the still lifes that were slowly ushering out of the German area, they're not doing that anymore, and it basically surrenders because there's no more. They all have died by now. So now this is going to just return to its actual German state, because it never actually was a real country to begin with. The slaughtering of still lifes has completely commenced. We're just gonna see. Boop, 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 boop. There you go. What is the rest of the world going to do with the backrooms? Now that the still lifes have been generally taken care of, they're actually going to be smart. First time ever in history. The world is going to come together. They're going to come together in Switzerland, and they are going to discuss what is going to happen. And they basically all vote leave the backrooms. They all vote to quit the colonizing and to remove as much equipment as they possibly can and leave the backrooms as quickly as possible. A majority of everyone agrees. Of course, China and Russia does not agree, but of course are being both outnumbered, and also their say is a little bit belittled because of crimes that China has done and the associative crimes that Russia has done. So basically that means we're going to look at a peace treaty. Although this video was super freaking long, the peace treaty is relatively simple. It's not too much. It's literally 2 sections that are changing. This is the same, except Germany is no longer colored. Russia got screwed over with the land that they got, but also you got to realize the world freaking hates Russia and China, but hates Russia, and so this is kind of really deserved for the heinous things that they've done, or the heinous things that they have allowed to happen, basically. And so we're just gonna... Scandinavians are arguably going to get way more valuable land right here than all of this combined. They are going to... this is all going to go Finland, since they lost the majority of the land that Sweden lost a tiny little bit, and Norway lost a little bit that they didn't even use. So over here, Japan and Korea, I just colored them because they are aligned. Yes, I got rid of North Korea because they freaking suck, because no one likes them. I was considering just releasing Manchuria and making it like a puppet state, but it's not that much of World War II Germany, or World War II Japan. But other than that, that's it for the world. Let's go ahead and save this and take a look at the actual backrooms map. This is kind of boring, but we can go ahead and look at the explored areas here. Since, you know, I don't want to be that boring with it, but this is what it looked like at the end of it, the end of the video, which, I mean, you guys already saw it, but still nice to look. This is what, also, how long have I had this color thing up, bro? I need a second monitor so bad. Thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoyed making this video. Although, making the second episode was kind of pissing me off after a while, because I don't know, it just started getting boring, and I'm pretty sure you guys could tell that. Sorry, this video was definitely not as good as the first one. However, I still enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and leave a like if you did. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.